Stool-Mutt, the official novel, Chapter 10, Reprieve. The next morning, both Jaquavius and Stool-Mutt woke up sore, but were greeted by a great breakfast made by Stool-Mutt's mom. "So what's the plan for today?" his mom asked them as she plated their food. "Probably just stay around here. We don't know what could happen or when it might happen," Stool-Mutt said. "Or maybe we could go out and have fun." "You're not here often, and I've never been here," Jaquavius said. "You can call them every 10 minutes if that makes you feel better." "No, we gotta make sure they're safe," Stool-Mutt said. "No, go have fun, honey. I'll text you every 10 minutes." Anne said. "Fine, but promise me you'll be safe." Stool-Mutt replied. "Promise," replied his mom with a warm smile. Stool-Mutt and Jaquavius made their way down the street, walking, stopping by stores to look until they eventually reached a clothing store. "Let's stop here," Jaquavius said. Stool-Mutt and Jaquavius both walked in there, trying on clothes and laughing while pulling out silly clothes combos. "I mean, honestly, I could use some new clothes," Stool-Mutt said, looking through a rack. "What? I thought you wore the same clothes every day," Jaquavius said jokingly. "No, I just have multiple of the same pair of clothes," Stool-Mutt said, pulling out a jacket. "It does get pretty cold here, especially during the winter." "Then you should go buy it," said Jaquavius, walking up to check out the jacket. "Looks nice." Stool-Mutt walked up and paid for the jacket and chatted with Jaquavius as the worker put his jacket in a bag. "Where did you want to go now?" Stool-Mutt asked. "Maybe get a bite to eat," Jaquavius replied. "I mean, it has been a bit since breakfast. Maybe we could grab a bite to eat and head to the park," Stool-Mutt said. Stool-Mutt and Jaquavius began to walk down the street until they reached a fast food joint. Stool-Mutt and Jaquavius both got a snack and headed to their local park. "Well, we still have a bit of the day left. What should we do?" asked Jaquavius as he took a bite from his burger. "Well, there's a big Ferris wheel," Stool-Mutt said, throwing a fry in his mouth. "That sounds fun. We should head there after this," Jaquavius said after finishing up his burger. Both Jaquavius and Stool-Mutt finished up their food and started heading towards the Ferris wheel. "So, how are you liking London?" Stool-Mutt asked Jaquavius, looking over at him as they approached the line to the Ferris wheel. "It's nice. I'm kind of sad we're going to have to leave after this is all over," replied Jaquavius, purchasing his ticket alongside Stool-Mutt. "Yeah, well, we'll have as much fun as we can before we have to leave," said Stool-Mutt, walking a few paces up. Stool-Mutt and Jaquavius walked up to the Ferris wheel, talking or joking around. Once they reached the Ferris wheel, they had already been waiting an hour or so. They entered the room with a few others and stood at the end, looking out the window overlooking the water. "I'm glad we're able to have some fun. It's made me a bit less stressed about all of this," Stool-Mutt said as the wheel started to move. "Yeah, you needed a break," Jaquavius said, looking at the water as the boat passed by. The view was nice and calm, but the winter sky was gloomy and dark. Mostly everyone in the room was quiet, just enjoying the view. But Stool-Mutt noticed one group of people talking about the plane crash and discussing rumors that they had hit a bird. However, some others believed they had been shot out of the sky. Stool-Mutt knew what actually happened, but he couldn't just tell these people a buff, bald man had torn the wig off, so he just stayed quiet. "So, what's the story on your parents? Any tea? Anything?" asked Jaquavius, looking over at Stool-Mutt. "Honestly, there isn't any tea. I lived a pretty perfect childhood. I lived in a pretty nice neighborhood. My parents never fought, and every Thursday my mom made spaghetti. It's really weird, but I have literally no family trauma. They actually were the only ones to still like me after I turned into this," Stool-Mutt said. "The only thing I really remember at all is hearing some stories that my neighbor killed his parents." "Wow, it's pretty cool for you to have such a good home life," replied Jaquavius. "Yeah, I'm really lucky," Stool-Mutt said as he glanced out the window again, only noticing a collapsing building. "Have you checked your phone in a while?" Jaquavius barked at Stool-Mutt. As quickly as he could, he opened his phone only to read the top messages. "Help. He's here." Stool-Mutt began to freak out, shaking, trying to text his mom back, but getting no response. He watched as more buildings collapsed, and he heard people screaming. The moment the Ferris wheel stopped, he ran, bolting as fast as he could down the road against the fleeing crowd. As Jaquavius struggled to keep up, as Stool-Mutt burst through the fleeing crowd, there he saw it. He saw Buttman, his new monstrous, juiced-up, and muscular Buttman. He was at least 8 feet tall and could probably lift a building. "Holy shit," he thought.